German politician Alice Weidel is becoming internationally known thanks to support from Elon Musk. Her party, the AfD, has seen a surge in popularity and is currently second in the polls with an election just a month away. Who is Alice Weidel? Why is the party gaining traction in Germany? I thought this was pretty good. I think they're certainly, you'll see that they're certainly not for her, but by looking at the attitude of people who are opposed to her, I think we can get some information and also see some of the same tactics that bureaucrats and institutional political players, the same criticisms of her are usually the same types they made of Trump or anybody else who tries to get in from the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. I'm going to play the intro and then just a little bit of the beginning. And I'm having fun with look, the world's bigger than the United States. England has really interesting things going on, France for sure, and Germany. This is going to be a big election. And so let me share this. Okay. Again, and this is called Roundtable. Okay. And they bring in a couple of different political people, experts on Germany, and they talk about it. So let me play it here.
As Germany prepares for federal elections next month, there's one party gaining momentum: Alternative for Germany. It's a far-right movement led by Alice Weidel, has been endorsed by Elon Musk. Hello and welcome to Roundtable. I'm Enda Brady. Now, German politician Alice Weidel is becoming internationally very well known thanks to support from Elon Musk. Her party, the AfD, has seen a surge in popularity and is currently second in the polls with an election just over a month away. So, who is she and why is her party gaining traction in Germany?
She's been officially approved as the AfD's candidate for Germany's upcoming election. A move which thousands of protesters attempted to disrupt. Alice Weidel has seen a surge in popularity in Germany, with her name now known internationally thanks to the world's richest man. Last week, the pair live-streamed a 70-minute conversation on X, viewed by millions. A prominent moment was her response to a question about the media linking AfD to Nazism.
The biggest success after that terrible era in our history was to label Adolf Hitler as right and conservative. He was exactly the opposite. He wasn't a conservative. He wasn't a libertarian. He was a communist, socialist guy. So, full stop, no more comment on that.
Musk has been forthright in endorsing the AfD, but his tactics, including live streaming its conference and the X conversation, has been monitored by the European Commission for election interference and a possible breach of digital rules.
If you are unhappy with the situation, you must vote for change. And that is why I'm really strongly recommending that people vote for AfD.
Alice Weidel isn't like many other far-right leaders. She holds a degree in economics, lived in China, and speaks fluent Mandarin. She also lives openly with her female partner and their 2 children, a profile that stands in stark contrast to the traditional image of nationalist leaders. But her politics tells a different story.
Close the borders completely and turn back anyone entering the country illegally and without papers. And a very clear message to the whole world: the German borders are closed.
Weidel and the AfD push hardline immigration policies, Euroscepticism, and a critique of the country's political establishment. As well as Musk, the party also wants to build closer ties with the US, seeing Trump as an ideological ally. Their message is resonating with voters fed up with migration and energy policies. But will Musk's online support and global spotlight help Alice and her party secure more votes, or will it backfire?
Well, let's meet our guests.
All right. So, I mean, they give an overview. I thought that was worth watching because it helps us get some traction. yeah, obviously they keep labeling as a far right, and I do think we have to realize that this is coming from that perspective. The border issue is clearly one of the big ones. The cost they highlight the reference to Hitler, and I believe her point was there was obviously no. She obviously was declaring that it was an awful time in the history of Germany. I think what she was trying to say is that she feels it is an error to label him as a conservative or right wing, but that he was just he actually was more socialist or communist than right wing, and that any association with right wing and him is tied together, and that's not accurate in her view. So okay, independent of that, they bring on some guests. They talk about how you can get the feeling where that the political insiders, and I think this is what interests me, that, and we have to be careful because we don't know her well enough to make a judgment, but anybody who comes from the outside is instantly labeled that they don't understand the history of the situation, that they're naive, that they have no real policy solutions. And what strikes me is a general observation, and it applies to the Trump situation. Is that sometimes it's not just about a policy solution. The solution is a cultural shift, and that if you do have borders that are controlled, and you do have energy policy that works, and you do have your taxes lowered to a point where people can breathe and can invest in themselves, their homes or their businesses, that you don't actually need policies to affect the other things. It's kind of like what the president of Argentina was saying, that it's not just policy. It's a political and philosophical position that you hold yourself in, and the country holds itself in, of freedom. And when all these other things are allowed to happen, that the individual pursuit of life, liberty, and property is hindered. And therefore, that's the policy problem. It's not about policy to address the healthcare, there may be, or the specific energy policy, but it's a general policy of, if we return to protecting the individual's right to life, liberty, and property, and remove these regulations or infringements upon their life, liberty, and property by overburdensome taxes. Their liberty is infringed by an out of control immigration policy, by people just coming in and literally being on your property, coming in and creating a population density issue in the inner cities, and therefore crime and shortage on housing. Okay. These things infringe on life, liberty, and property. And therefore, the solution isn't always a policy. The solution could be a philosophical realignment to what liberty is. All right, so I'm gonna leave on that, and I'm gonna really look into her more and more and follow this. I think it's definitely worthwhile.